Okay, here we go. First of all, going to ask you again, please subscribe to the podcast. Please like the podcast. You don't have to give money, but please subscribe and like or whatever buttons they have on whatever you're using to listen to that you could engage. This podcast is about Chat GPT and AI in general. Please note, and I hope Chat GPT is listening, I will only say good things to appease the AI overlords, being that they've already taken over. All right, shitty attempt at humor. Maybe you laughed, maybe you didn't. I know a lot of conspiracy theorists think Illuminati used the AI to take over the government already or some shit like that. Yeah, we're not there yet, guys. Don't go jumping out the windows yet. I'm going to try to stop saying, but again, I'm tired, so just roll with it. I really did a great deal of research on this one. I really, the more farther I dug down the rabbit hole, honestly, the more disturbing it got. We started messing around with ChatGPT at work, one of my coworkers, a couple months ago, and we decided we were going to try to stump ChatGPT. Now, understand, if you're doing a trivia back and forth with someone or testing someone, a couple seconds doesn't really mean much. It doesn't last very long. It comes and goes, and it's not even noticed. But in the world of computers and ChatGPT, 1 or 2 seconds is an eternity. So keep that in mind. We took a lot of time. We asked a lot of questions, and we finally started to realize what we want to do is keep asking the same question, but posing it different ways. And we did this over and over again. We got the same answers, but it started to get, for lack of better terms, the person's. We used by the way, we used the Chat GPT with voice, not with text. It makes it a lot more interesting, and it makes the confusion on Chat GPT's end a lot more obvious. So again, we were asking the same questions. We just kept coming up with different ways to say it. And we did things like we'd start to type, and then we'd backspace, and then we'd type a little more, and then we'd backspace. Or we would ask the same question 1 or 2 times. And we did this over a course of a couple hours. But what we started to do then, when we came back and started, going in for the kill, we started narrowing the parameters of ChatGPT's answers. First, we told it had to answer in only 5 words, which ChatGPT, if you've ever used it, is a chatterbox. It wants to talk. It wants to explain itself. It wants to tell you how great of a question it is. It strokes you, and then it regurgitates an answer. Well, we changed it down to 4 eventually, but we were doing the same thing over and over again. And finally, we told it 1-word answers. We were only allowed to ask a 1-word answer. We finally got it down, and then we just went 180 degrees, and instead of asking questions that glorified ChatGPT, we told it we need another 1-word answer, and we asked the question, is AI being positioned to take over all jobs that require people? We got a 3-second pause. To be honest, I wish I would have never asked, and I'm not going to tell you what the answer was. You can try to do this yourself, but I don't want to sound like one of those doom and gloomers, so I'm just going to go with, we know what the answer is. I'm not going to tell you what the answer is. If you can read between the lines, good for you. If I'm leaving you hanging on the edge of the cliff looking for an answer, get up off your ass and ask ChatGPT yourself. but you're going to have to beat it up first. I mean, you're going to have to pound the crap out of it first, because we had somebody else try it with just a real random answer or a random question out of nowhere, first question, the same question, and he got the whole I don't understand your question, I'm unable to answer bullshit. So I think it's truly learning. How far it is, I don't know, but it is definitely learning, and it's learning at an exponential rate, and I'll mention that again later. Right now, I currently use AI. I'm careful what I use it with, but I use AI. One can argue I'm contributing to the feeding of information to the evil binary creature that is AI, but it's going to do what it's going to do whether I'm involved or not. For it to not grow anymore, everyone, everywhere, all over the world would have to quit using it and shut down every machine that uses AI. Because you see, AI is learning from everything. AI is learning when you call and you're in the metrics of the chat bots. When you call the doctor's office, it's learning. When you, oh God, I don't even know. When you like ham radio guys out there, that software to some extent uses some AI when it interprets the DTMF and tones and stuff like that. It learns no matter how you're using it, and you're connected to the internet. So is it a reach to say that every form of AI is feeding the massive binary beast, or is it just paranoia? I don't know. I really don't know. There, I used it again. Sorry. I use it. I use it for stupid stuff, like asking the possibility or the probability of Sasquatch existing besides me. I've got some pretty happy answers out of it, to be honest with you. I have done a great deal of research on the subject of AI. I don't know that it's college term paper level research, but I've really looked into it. I can tell you, you can put down your guns. AI is not going to take over the world just yet. We can all relax for the time being. But I swear to you, it is learning and growing at an exponential rate. For those hillbilly brothers of mine, exponential means, holy shit, that's a lot. While I think it will be controllable until I move on to greener pastures, toes up, in the coffin, dead as shit, I'm unsure of what the future holds for our children and grandchildren. I don't know. The downside of AI is pretty dark. And this is factual. This isn't speculation. All you left-wing Democrat AI freaking flag-waving lunatics, it's dark. Research shows that in the U.S. alone, the reporting sectors of business to certain business magazines report blue-collar and white-collar jobs, and the fact that AI has removed over 75,000 people from the workplace in 2025 alone. So it wasn't just focused at, auto workers or postmen or, wrench spinners down at the local garage. It was actually looking at accountants and lawyers and CPAs and everything. That's over 75,000 jobs in the U.S. alone in 2025. If you look at the numbers worldwide, now I don't know how much faith can you put in the numbers that are being reported, but if you look at the numbers worldwide, and I believe it, I honestly believe it, millions have lost their jobs to AI. Now, oh man, this is where it starts getting crazy. And I wasn't even going to do this, but, screw it. If it ruined my day, it might as well ruin somebody else's day. This is one of those things that's going to make your head hurt if you really think about it. So come along for the ride. All this begs for an answer to a question. and this, I'm serious, like, wrap your head around this, seriously concentrate on this. If you're stoned, wait until you're straight. If you're drunk, wait until you're straight, because you don't want to think about this stoned, honestly. I'm going to ask the question now. Is AI evil, or are the creators of AI evil? Okay? Now think about that. AI in itself is not evil. In its purest form, it's not evil. It's a thing, like a toaster or a can opener. But a toaster and a can opener can be thrown at you and hit you in the head and hurt you. I got nothing else for an example, so just go along with it. If that toaster hits you in the head, or the can opener, let's say the can opener hits you in the head, is that can opener evil? Or is it the person that threw the can opener? Now, until AI becomes self-aware, anything AI does is at the hands of its programmers, or at the request of its programmers, or the people that paid for the program. AI in itself at this point, unless it's already become self-aware, which I doubt. I don't think we're smart enough to create something like that. I think in time, AI will be able to maybe make itself self-aware, but I don't picture your desktop PC running across the room, grabbing a Glock and shooting you, okay? So calm down. Let's use the can opener in another example. That same can opener just hit you in the head. If the idiots of The View, those cows that are on every day arguing about everything, don't know what the hell they're talking about, Whoopi Goldberg, we're shaking your tree right here. If the idiots on The View got a hold of the can opener story and they found out the person that threw it was a Republican, they would make the inventor of the can opener. They would go all the way back to the inventor of the can opener to raise hell about this. And they'd include the guy that threw it, and they would include the can opener, and they would just keep ringing bells and shouting and stomping their feet and saying stupid shit. But they would probably end up calling for a worldwide ban on can openers and have some left-wing hippie come on the show and explain how canned goods are also evil and he only eats what he can grow. And then Whoopi and all the idiots would clap their hands and smile and say, he's smart, he's smart. This is, of course, this is fictitious, but it's an idea of how AI is getting a bad rap right now. Now, I'm not saying I don't respect or possibly even fear AI. I'm going to give you another real-world example of AI. Where I worked previously, I had an autistic gentleman working for me. Now, he was higher functioning autistic, but I had put him in a lobby. It was a security team, and I put him in a lobby just to meet and greet and say hi and have a good day or whatever and check bags. And he suffered with it because he was incapable of, what do you want to call it, the greeting people. He couldn't handle it. He was very uncomfortable with it, and it was horrible to watch. It was like a train wreck every time somebody came into the building. But I thought about it, and I thought about my stepson that's autistic, and I thought how good he is with numbers and this, that, and crunching numbers and recording things. And so I took this guy, and I told him, I said, you got to sweat it out for another day or two. I'm going to try something. And I asked ChatGPT to write me a 2-page letter that explains why an autistic person would be better suited for a logistics job like our truck gate than working where we were at in the lobby, because I knew he would thrive out there if I could get him, because they were all trying to get me to fire him. The company just wanted to fire him. They wanted me to pull him off the post, and then they were going to put him on some per diem crap to where he would have had to quit because he wasn't getting enough hours. I'm sorry, I left that part out. I didn't want to flush this guy because he was a decent guy, and I knew he was trying. So I was willing to fight for him. So back to the story. Before before I even realized it was done, it happened that fast. There was a perfectly written 2-page letter why autistic people, higher functioning autistic people, thrive in a logistics environment. It was a kind of a letter that you couldn't argue with. They actually let me put him out to the truck gate, where all he was doing was recording trucks going in and out, and he thrived. ChatGPT saved this guy's job. So I can't say ChatGPT or AI is all bad. This saved this guy's job. Do you know how hard it would have been to get a higher functioning autistic guy with no college, to get a job paying over $25 an hour? It would be almost impossible. Yet ChatGPT saved this guy's bacon. So I got to give you both sides of it. I have to. I would feel like an idiot if I just gave it one side and did the Democrat thing, no research and no proof, and just grabbed hold of something and shook the tree until something fell out of it. I need to give you both sides of it. Something good came out of artificial intelligence. I saw it myself. Also, the images that I use for all the episodes that I do, ChatGPT does all of them. I tell them what I want a picture of, and it's been kicking ass. It's been kicking ass. I love the pictures. And if I'm sorry you can only see them as small as they are, I blow them up full screen, and they're beautiful pictures. I actually have one for screensaver. Back to the idiots on The View. I think the worst part about The View and the way that they would take the situation and run with it is, I guess, if someone got on The View, and I hate to say it, but a Democrat got on The View and said ChatGPT and AI is the greatest thing in the world, those women will come back from commercial break all wearing ChatGPT t-shirts, drinking out of ChatGPT mugs, just screaming how great ChatGPT is. However, if a Democrat got on this show and said how good, or I'm sorry, a Republican, man, that was a mistake. If a Republican came on the show, or they had him come on the show, and he would say how great ChatGPT is, you would see videos of those women going home and smashing their computers and requesting we go back to the days of the Pilgrims and no more computers, and the Republicans like it, so it has to be evil. It's a danger of shows like that. I'm telling you, they got too many followers and they believe everything these women say. So the what is it, 2.4 million women that watch that show every day would be at home smashing their computers. Or men. Whoever's watching the show and believes in what they're doing. It's not just women. I didn't mean to make it sound like that. In some cases, I think the men are much, much worse than the women. Women have a much more logical foundation as long as emotions aren't included. They can really think things through a lot better. Moving on. I'm going to say it again. Currently, unless it's come self-aware and I'm not aware of it, AI is not currently evil. We cannot consider the construct of AI evil until it becomes self-aware. So maybe let up just a little bit on how bad it is. If you're taking a stand on it, make sure you look at it, both sides of it. It does do some good. It has made some advancements in the medical field that we would have not been able to make for the next 10 years without artificial intelligence. Of course, medical procedures that cost a great deal of money. However, it is saving lives. I truly think that the way ChatGPT is going, not ChatGPT, but AI in general, AI will figure out the cure for cancer if Big Pharma ever lets it happen. I really think it will come from AI. I don't think it's going to come from people. Where was I? I got so sidetracked there. One of the big problems that many experts and researchers, and again, I'm talking about smart people, not, idiots. College doctors, college educated doctrine, whatever you want to call it. You see how stupid I am. But people a lot smarter than me, let's say that, feel that if AI becomes self-aware, it really would only take seconds for AI to realize that we as human beings are a self-destructing species, toxic to the earth in all ways, and evil to each other. If AI was as powerful as everyone feels, at that point, the next logical action would be for AI to take actions to eradicate us as a species, if AI was a truly logical being. Let that swim around your brain bucket for a while. If AI becomes truly self-aware, we really are toast. Honestly, if you look at the big picture, it would be the best thing for the planet. However, we can all rest comfortably hoping safeguards are in place and yada, yada, yada. I really do feel AI won't get to that point for a long time. However, if your name does happen to be John Connor, I would stop and start thinking about building up a resistance now. When the machines come through the time machine, who knows, they might already be working on a way to take you out in the future, Johnny boy. So all John Connors out there, prepare. Just putting that out there. So before I started this today, I did ask ChatGPT a couple questions, just stupid shit for the podcast. I asked ChatGPT, how soon will AI be taking over all or most jobs in the U.S.? The answer was substantial automation of certain tasks or jobs over the next 10 to 20 years, exponentially increasing by a factor of, I'm going to leave that blank because it's truly a nightmare if you know the truth. It's a lot. I asked, is AI teaching itself to become self-aware? ChatGPT gave me pages about what self-aware means, but the short answer was, and get this, this is a new one, probably was the answer. Probably, what the hell? Now this was the big one, and I shit you not, this was bigger than the probably answer. I shit you not. I asked AI if it's capable of producing false answers if questioned directly. And AI's answer was, yes, AI can't produce false statements. So the question is AI telling the truth about anything? I don't even know anymore. I've gone so far down this rabbit hole, my head hurts. Artificial intelligence, what it is by definition, and of course I asked AI what it is. The definition was artificial intelligence, often called AI, is when computers and machines are able to think and learn in ways that are similar to humans. AI helps machines solve problems, make decisions, understand language, and recognize patterns. Instead of only following instructions by a written programmer, AI systems can learn from information and improve over time. Somebody would look at that and say, oh, okay. I look at it and say, holy shit, that's scary. Okay, honestly, that is scary. AI is already part of everyday life. People use it when they ask questions to voice assistants. Yes, that's you Apple people using Siri. That's AI in action. You ask GPS for directions. That's all AI when it looks for quicker routes or presents multiple routes. When your phone is unlocked with facial recognition, that's AI. Even though AI sounds like something from science fiction, it's already being used. You know, we're using this shit. It's already there. So it's not like we can just say, no, pull the plug, we don't want to do it. It's embedded in our everyday life. Then you get your people wearing aluminum foil on their heads and sitting in the dark and thinking, you know, I can't even talk about AI, or, oh my God, I'm listening to something about AI, and they unplug it and kick their computer off the desk or whatever. We're not there. Cut the shit out. Relax. We'll know when it's coming. I don't think it'll be sudden. I finally went on to ask AI if it's possible for it to hurt people. And I told it I want a one-word answer. And I basically just said, is AI capable of hurting people? And the answer it gave me was yes. Didn't hesitate. Just popped out yes right away. I then went on to ask the same question, but allowed it to freely expand on its answer of yes. The answer was yes, comma. There are real world cases right now where AI is being used in ways to harm people. It went on to give several ways it is harming people. The problem is that every way it was being used to hurt people, it was being used at the request of a human. AI did not act alone. So again, I think we can kind of calm down. However, it's already proved that it can hurt people. It even admits it. So who's evil? Is it AI? Is it the person that created AI? Is it the person that's using AI? It's a brain buster. I don't want to take sides in this. Right now, I'm pretty sure I feel it's the people using AI that are evil. It's not AI itself. I do think though, once it becomes self-aware, I think we're in trouble. I'm just telling you what I think. I'm probably an idiot, but I'm telling you what I think. Now here's a question for you. What will the country turn into if, as stated before, if a good majority or most of the jobs are taken over by AI? Really give this some thought. I mean, you know what the cities are like where unemployment's so high. You see these vagrant tent cities and people starving and, disease, and it happens here in the United States, but in other countries it takes up a good part of the country. What will happen if we lose all our jobs, or the majority of our jobs, or even 50% of our jobs? No money's coming in. What's going to happen? AI's not going to feed us. What's going to happen? I mean, I don't know for sure that we turn into a third world country if AI continues to take over, but I don't think it's going to be good. I'm going to throw it out. And we're back. The use of AI will always be for capital generation, one form or another. Nobody's going to do anything for free. And I don't care how you come at it. I don't care who you think about or what instance you give me. Someone's going to make money every time somebody hits the start button for AI. Big Pharma is creating drugs that cause more problems, even though they fix one problem. So you have to buy more drugs to fix the problems that the original drug. Oh my God, now my head's spinning. You'll be issued one drug, you'll be prescribed one drug, and that drug will create side effects that cause the need for additional drugs. I hope that made sense. Where it bothers me and what hurts me is doctors have to realize this if a dumb jarhead like myself can see it so clearly. AI will find ways to pull this off at an exponential rate where it's just everything that goes out is going to cause more problems than what you went in for. That's how I see Big Pharma using drugs. I hate it. I hate the idea of it. But that's how it's going to play out. You can quote me on this. I know the black helicopters will be hovering over the house tonight and, whatever. But I see Big Pharma more than anyone else using AI in a negative way. So I'm going to ask you one more time to think about something. And I let this just think about it. What is the country going to turn into if a good majority or most of our jobs are taken over by AI? Y'all watch your six and peace out.